Man, do I have a treat for y'all tonight. I have a treat for y'all tonight. Y'all gonna, man, I'm talking about this video is gonna bring so much clarity to some of the like mythologies that we've heard in the past, man. It's a very long video, man, but y'all do me a favor, man. Like it up, share it, and drop the names to let me know that my audio is great. John Franklin, welcome to the live, God. Welcome to the live, man. Yeah, this is gonna be a great video, y'all. And it's actually it's an older video, man. Okay. But, you know, it's touching on a lot of the topics, man, that we still need to be aware of right now. And it's that's going on to this very day, all right? And it's from one of the goddesses by the name of Sister Maya Moss, man. Myra Moss. I don't know if y'all dropped the names, but I ever heard of her. Rhea Questas, love and light to you too. Trisha Boyer, thanks for the names. Mega Gayton, thanks for the names. William Smith, thanks for the names. Harold Clements, thanks for the names. Jessica Guro, thanks for the names. Alaric Miles, thanks for the names. Virginia, thanks for the names. Will Smith say, what's up, God? What's the word? Sierra Stevenson, thanks for the names. Mega Gayton, PCU2 Reflection. James Chambers, thanks for the names. Sirius Star Being, thanks for the names. Say Grand Rising to you too, Reflection. Heather Grounds, thanks for the names. Trisha Boyer, thanks for the names. John Franklin say he shared and he thanks God. I really appreciate that. Y'all do me a favor, pound that like button up, man. Y'all know we fighting with the algorithm over here. We fighting with the algorithm over here. So y'all do me a favor, pound that like button up, man. And look, I ain't gonna need hold y'all today. We just gonna go on here and jump right in this, man. So I really want to just start this off with the right spiritual energy. I want to say peace to the gods and goddesses, peace to the ancestors, and peace to all the high vibrational beings on the planet. Today, I'm sending you nothing but love and light, man. Y'all already know what it is. Let's get it.
Yeah, I'm about to expose every lie they done told, like how they trafficking kids and why they ain't got a soul. They feeding off our energy, trying to destroy the globe. They got weather control, they even making it snow. But we can't run from it, gotta grab it by the antler.
Oh, yeah. Like I say, it's going to be a treat, y'all. It's going to be a treat. Like I say, man, this video is going to be dealing with one of the goddesses by the name of Sister Myra Moss, okay? And this video is from 2022. I just so happened to see it coming down my timeline last night, okay? And I'm like, you know what, man? This is going to be a great video to share with, you know, the gods and goddesses, man. You feel me? So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this. Now, I want to say this. I want to just say that this video is going to be long. I think it's like an hour and a half, y'all. I don't know if we're going to actually do the whole hour and a half, but I want you to understand it's not going to be from the standpoint of your hand symbolism, what the things you would see. It's dealing with more so of Egyptian mythology and things like that. She's going to be tapping in a little bit on who Hercules was and, you know, in history and, you know, the symbolism behind him, okay? She's going to be tapping into who Zeus was a little bit, the symbolism behind him, okay? Then she's going to go on and touch into Aaliyah and the symbolism behind the passing of her, you know, behind her passing. So it's going to get deep. She's going to get into the Super Bowl that happened around the time. I think it was around like 2022. She's going to touch on a lot. She's going to touch on the symbolism, okay? So without, you know, further ado, let's go ahead and just jump into this video, man.
Symbolism didn't want us to see, okay? And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to tie up the Aaliyah's death with, you know, the 911. I'm going to tie that also up with the Mardi Gras and the Super Bowl. See, and I'm going to show you how they're connected. No such thing as coincidence, okay? First thing I have to do, though, is greet the spirits, the ancestor spirits, the elemental spirits, and the universal spirits. We need to welcome them here, bring their participation and their information, and fill these seats, you know, to empower us tonight. Ashe. Okay. Okay. Of course, I'm Sister Myra, and first thing I want to do is read some information to kind of set the stage for where I'm going with this. Part 3, let's see here, part 2, part 3, here we go. It says, once you adjust your perspective to a universal view, you become a part of the fulfillment of the whole, which is God in uniqueness of you, with the power from within to create all that promotes the universal principles of righteousness. Once we are armed with the tools necessary to tune into your spiritual self or your higher self, who will define those principles for you in a way that is personally you. Trust in the Spirit, for it will take you where you need to go. All we need to do at this point is to find ways to tune in, keep our first eye open, as well as any other gifts of attunement that has been developed in your subconscious world. Everything happens for a reason, and now is the time to get with the spiritual flow. Learn how to stop resisting your powers. You do have them, just as our ancestors did. The more physical we became, the more we lost these wonderful gifts. Don't forget that everything works on the principle of duality from opposite perspectives. As above, so below. Subjective as well as objective. Anything that has a physical existence has a spiritual one also. And we need to be able to see these things in both lights for full meaning. Okay? So remember that. It's always about balancing opposites. That's how you create, by balancing opposites. Now, what I want to get into first off is the lowest manifestation of the Aryan age. And I'm going to read some information from the archetype of the zodiac. This is a very, very valuable book. It's Archetypes of the Zodiac, Kathleen Burt. You see, very insightful information. It connects the zodiac with mystical characters, you see, so you'll understand what that energy is symbolizing, okay? The first one I want to get on to, what I'm going to read about is Hercules. I don't know how many of you know who Hercules actually represents, okay? Now, when we look at the Aryan age, we're talking about the Aries energy, okay? This is when the masculine energy, overpowered the feminine energy, okay? Which is only cycles. Cycles. Everything has to go in cycles.
Hey, I love to see the goddesses out here doing their just do, man. I can feel her energy through the portal.
See. So when we look at the Aries energy, what we're going to identify for you now is the lowest manifestation of that energy versus the highest manifestation of that energy. So when we're looking at Hercules, we're actually looking at the white man, okay? Because he's a man of strength who controls the gods. Guess who the gods are, okay? So that's where they got the Hercules from, okay? His counterpart is Jason, which is the higher manifestation of Hercules, okay? Which represents us, as black people. So we've got two stories to tell here from two different polarities. And we're dealing with the Aries energy, which is the warrior energy, okay? Okay, so let me read this to you. Page 2 to 5 here. Okay. Okay. It says here, the age of Aries brought a dramatic change in symbolism from the lunar or feminine to the solar or masculine. The Aryan age was a period of violent, heroic activity, of feats of daring do. The archetype Aries takes pride at being on earth in the physical form or body. Pride in himself, his creative capacity, his drive to fulfill his desires in the outside world. Let us consider the glyphs for Aries and for Mars. The mundane ruler, Aries, is the ram's horn and the battering ram.
Y'all pound that like button up, man. We fighting against the algorithm, man. This message needs to get out. This is some good information. I believe that this is information that we most definitely need to hear. Pound that like button up and don't forget to share it, man.
Okay, it says the glyphs for Mars is the biological symbol of the male sex. Many people whose Aries energy manifests at the mundane level alone identify with Mars, with the libido and the senses, with the body's drive and instinct. Okay, Now I want to get to I just wanted to set the groundwork on the Aries energy for the age that we moved into when the white man came in control, you see, and is manifesting that energy at the lowest level, okay? It says, we come now to the myths for Aries. Both are solar, heroic stories about young, naive, independent, supremely confident heroes. In the first story, Hercules learns the importance of tuning in to Hermes or Mercury. And in the second story, Jason learns the need to acknowledge at least the principles of Eros, the child of goddess Aphrodite, if not also the need to sacrifice his restless independence to Eros and settle down with a mate. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that the Hercules story, we're talking about two stories. We're talking about one polarity of that two polarities of that Aries energy. Okay? And we're looking at the Hercules story, which is the lowest manifestation, and he's here to learn the importance of tuning in to Mercury. In other words, the mind. He wants to strategize. He wants to, be supremely independent and confident, as he steps up to his masculine rule as this physical being who is very, very supremely strong enough to control the gods. And that's the story we're going to deal with tonight, okay? The Hercules story. When we're talking about the Jason story...
Mac always to the right. Thanks for the stars, God. But I do want to say this real fast, right? I want y'all to see how you see how they are making movies all about us, bro. And in the movies, they showing you the battle between the two. But we don't know it, so we just think it's theatrics. They made a movie about Zeus. And if I'm not, like, the last movie, if for those of you who actually seen Thor, okay, at the end of that movie, it said to be continued. And he had just met Hercules. So for me, I feel like they're saying something, because it's a lot of symbolism in the movies as well. So the next Thor movie is going to involve Hercules.
It's all about love, because they're talking about dealing with Eros, okay? So we're talking about the white man representing Hercules and the black man representing Jason, okay? So Jason's lesson is about love, okay? It's about taking a mate and finding...
Now we have to understand that Hercules was Zeus' father. Zeus was Hercules' father, y'all. So let's just keep that in mind.
The right mate, okay? And when we deal with that story, then we're going to get into the twin soul area. And whenever we're bringing those twin souls together, this represents a fulfillment, you see. So that is the black man's mission, to find his twin soul in order to open up the fulfillment, of trying to bring the transformation or to turn things around for Mother Earth, okay? But right now we're going to deal with the Hercules story. It says, in the Labors of Hercules, Alice Bailey recounts the myth of the Ares quest, the first of Hercules' famous labors. Hercules is told to go through the gate, the twin columns of duality, okay? Catch that, okay? The twin columns of duality that are the symbol of entry into the world of delusion. Okay? And it says, and Tetter, the wild mares, Diomedes, the war horses that the king bred. It is interesting that in this myth, the most dangerous were the female horses or mares who devastated the land. Okay? The mare, yeah. Okay? It seems appropriate for an Aries quest to have logos, that's the thinking part, that's the Hermes, the Mercury they're talking about, struggling against the destructive side of the feminine. Just as Perseus fought the dark goddess who was laying waste the land. Yet Hercules did not think or plan. He rushed headlong into the fray with full confidence, then stopped briefly when he saw the odds were against him. There were a great many wild mares snorting and pawing the ground. He thought of his friend whom he greatly loved and called out for help. Together the two devised a plan to corner and tether the mares, okay? Now, when I'm looking at this feminine energy that is going to devastate the land, guess what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about the apocalypse, okay? The horses, the female mares that are going to devastate the land, okay? They need to go through the twin gateways to stop or quell this destructive feminine energy, okay? They don't want the apocalypse. We do. They don't want the cleansing. They don't want the cleansing, okay? See, the prophecy, how many of you saw Dark Crystal? Okay? Remember?
So what is the apocalypse? Y'all drop them names if y'all know what the apocalypse is.
The prophecy? Oh, the prophecy. You know, the Nephilim, they're going to come and they're going to destroy us. They're going to, you know, and they had to go to the glyphs, you know, the hieroglyphs, and find the information of their ancestors who talked about the fulfillment, you see, where you know, we are to restore righteousness to an unrighteous civilization. So their thing is to tell us that, you know, anything that comes up against this civilization is wicked. And we should band together and fight against that, you see, in order to keep the devastation from occurring, you know. But they know we're fighting against our own energy. We're fighting.
Okay, so she said, Isha Octavia said that it's the destroying of Babylon. I want you to understand it's deeper than that, y'all. It's what we see happening to the planet right now. It's the, you know, you have to understand that we're going back into the we entering the last 6,000 years of the 24,000 year equinox. That is the sun cycle. That's why the gods and goddesses are starting to become awakened, right? Also, the apocalypse is what you're starting to see when we talk about, you know, this planet coming back into our atmosphere. It's the re-cleansing, you know, it's going to come back in. And what is it going to do? It's going to clean up. It's going to reset the planet back to its original state. And to them, that will be considered the apocalypse, okay? Because when you talk about global warming and things like that, okay? And I want you to understand this. I'm not saying this to insult anybody, but let's just, you know, I have to say how it is, right? When we talk about the type of melon that these two people have, okay? But I want you to understand it's bigger than that. It's a species thing, okay? But look, when we talk about the melanin, bro, the sun is adverse to the people who cannot, you know, take the sun. It's their enemy. So that's the apocalypse. That's what they would consider to be the apocalypse, okay? The resetting of the planet, okay? So yeah, y'all drop them names if y'all understand where I'm coming from.
Against the prophecy, you see, to take the rulership out of their hands and put it back into our hands. Now, the feminine represents the earth. It represents the material, Ma, okay? That's the reason why we're looking at the most destructive of those energies to be the feminine, because it actually represents the chaos or the feminine destruction of the earth, you see. You know, so, and this is where the Jason story comes back in at, because as the Christ energy comes in, and we combine with the Christ energy, that's like the male energy combining with the female energy in order to make that fulfillment occur, you see. But first, there has to be a devastation of the material or physical side in order to bring the upliftment of the spiritual, you see. So that represents the apocalypse, the destruction of the feminine side, the tear down of the physical existence where they have control and power and are using it, you know, as the Hercules to control the gods and keep control, you know, by continuing to perpetuate the illusion. The physical world is the illusion. It's the spiritual world that is reality. So they don't want this coupling. They don't want this combination, you know, because that's what's going to break through the illusion. So this is what was being symbolized when they went through the twin gates, the twin towers on September the 11th. That's what that was all about. First off, they took out Aaliyah, okay? They took out Aaliyah because she represented the feminine mare that was going to devastate the land, okay? And the reason she represented that was because she was, of course, the feminine energy, But what was her sign? Capricorn. Capricorn. There's a lot of symbolism. Now, if any of you have heard me before, you've heard me say that Saturn is the energy that represents the father energy, right? That's the father, okay? They say it was a satellite. Earth was a satellite of Saturn, but it represents the father energy, okay? Which is, Saturn represents the Capricorn energy. So we're talking about the father, which represents the Capricorn energy, okay? So that's the first symbolism that they were looking at in order to identify Aaliyah as being symbolic of this destructive male energy, okay? Because the Saturn is actually the one that was prophesied to return, you see. He was Set. He was the first son of the great mother. He had a battle with Osiris. He cuts Osiris up into the 14 pieces.
Now, we all know who Saturn is connected to. Drop them names if you know who Saturn is connected to, the planet Saturn. The name says it for itself.
And when he did that, he was put into exile, okay? Now, when our ancestors looked up in the sky, they saw Saturn as we see the sun. All the names that are given to the sun first belong to Saturn, okay? Every last one of them all belong to Saturn before they belong to this present sun, okay? When he was put into, this is when he was at a close proximity to the earth. This is when our ancestors were bestowed of their powers, because it was like the father energy directly energizing that, okay? But when he cut Osiris up, and remember, we're talking symbolic now, okay? And when he cuts Osiris into the 14 pieces, he was put into exile, okay? But he was prophesied to return. Saturn means crystallization. This is where the Christ story came from, okay? He was prophesied to return and restore righteousness to an unrighteous civilization, okay? That is what is setting the stage for the apocalypse, you see. That is why they're always putting out movies talking about, if anything comes up against this civilization, let's band together and fight against this evil, you know, because they know it's time for this to go in order for a new beginning to occur, for us to take our rulership under that Saturn reign, okay? Now, Saturn, like I said, represents the energy of Capricorn. I'm going to give you some reasons why they tabbed Aaliyah as being symbolic of the most destructive mare. For one thing, like I said, it's the Capricorn. Capricorn represents the cardinal energy. The cardinal energy is royalty. Ruler, yeah. And she's directly the daughter of Saturn. Since Saturn represents the Capricorn energy and he's the father energy, they tabbed her the daughter of Saturn, or the daughter of, you know, the father, or the daughter of God, okay? See, so she's the cardinal energy of royalty. Her birthday was January the 16th, 1989, which adds up numerology to the number 26, which adds up to 8. 8 is always the number that represents the spirit overcoming the physical, which is the apocalypse, okay? Now, another reason they were fearful, they symbolized her because, yeah, the spirit overcoming the physical. I'm going to read you something else about the Capricorn energy, the reason why they...
And so that's why when you see the angel number 888 so much, that's why, you know, the number 888 is a representation, or if you're constantly saying the number 8, it's a representation that's saying that, you know, the universe is working with you. Whatever's happening, the universe is working with you.
Looked at her as symbolizing daughter Earth. Don't tell me I didn't bring that book. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Here it is. Okay. It says here, page 45. I'm just trying to set the stage where you can understand why they were looking at her as being symbolic of that energy. It says the word Capricorn is very intriguing. Research this word with a good dictionary and you will discover some wisdom from the ancients. The zodiac sign of Capricorn, where Christ, the sun, was killed, contains in its clues to its hidden meaning. The word is divided into two parts. Capri means goat, and corn means derived and associated with horn. One of the definitions of the word goat is scapegoat. Okay? And a definition of horn.
Now we getting somewhere because we know. See, now when we talk about Saturn, we already discussed the god Pan, okay? Which was who? A goat god. He was half man, half goat. And who was he connected with? The dark planet of what? Saturn, okay? And he was also what? A symbolism of who? Y'all drop them names if y'all know what I'm talking about. See, if you know, then you know. You can follow along.
Horn is a symbol of a person of high honor and authority. A king, a prince, of course, a princess. So, here we have in the esoteric meaning of this sign Capricorn, a king that is made into a scapegoat, a sacrificial lamb that dies so that others may live. Get a good dictionary and check it out for yourself, okay? That's what I'm saying. So she represented the spiritual, she represented the princess, you know, and the reason why, so what they did, they took her out, you see, and then they went through the twin gateway. This is all symbolic. See, white people have been understanding symbolism for a long time, okay? And they've kept us so narrow vision so they could just work their stuff right under our nose, you know, using symbolism, and we would never know what they were trying to accomplish here. So what it is that they took out Aaliyah, and then that's when they took out the twin gateways on September 11th to symbolize the symbolic going through that twin gateway to stop the destructive feminine apocalyptic energy. Okay, that's what that was all about. Okay, so it says here her age. She was 22 years old. You add up 22, that's number 4. Number 4 is balance. Okay, and that's what the apocalypse is all about. It's about tearing down the old and rebuilding at a new, higher level. Mother Earth is trying to become a sacred planet. Okay, which means she needs to come into balance. And here we get back to the twin souls. Balancing, you know, between the male and the female, the physical and the spiritual, okay? So once Mother Earth balances herself, then it contributes to the balance of the universe, you see.
And so I want y'all to know balance is everything, right? Why do you think there's a man and a woman in the home to bring balance to the home? She has that feminine masculine within herself, so does he. But they're put together to bring that balance to the home. So no one should be trying to rule over nobody in the house. It should be balanced out. You know, drop them names if you know what I'm saying.
So they understood this. So her age, which is number 22, added up to 4, which indicates balance. This is another symbolic meaning behind why they figured she represented the daughter princess of the earth. Okay. Then number 3, a royal funeral. Okay, for a royal sacrifice for the sick Queen of England. You know, the Queen Mother of England was very sick at the time, okay? And they needed a royal sacrifice. So they killed 2 birds with 1 stone. That's why they gave her a royal funeral, so she would be a fitting sacrifice for the royal Queen Mother of England, okay? They don't waste anything, okay? So they're serving all these dual purposes. Number 4, perform the ritual as the transit sun was connecting with the Leo and Virgo energy, which represents the apocalyptic signet energy, in an angle with the Capricorn energy for disruption. Okay, so what I'm saying here is that when they took her out just as the sun was moving out of Leo into Virgo.
Now look, I want y'all to understand who she is talking about right now. She's actually talking about Aaliyah, the singer. She's giving you the symbology, the hidden symbology behind why it is that they wanted to take her out. Who it is that they felt like she represented, okay? They picked her for a reason to be in that movie. Okay? The movie Queen of the Dam, I think that was her last movie that she played in. If not, drop the movie. But I think, you know, she basically The movie predicted her own demise. All right. So yeah, this is who they're talking about. Drop them names, man. If y'all understand, I want y'all to just come along. Yes, Steel Rose, Aaliyah. Yes, she's giving the symbolism behind Aaliyah and the reason she was taken out, y'all. It all has to do with she. Because if you know anything about Pan, if you know anything about his connection to the dark planet of Saturn, I've talked about this already, bro. Then you know who that is. So the symbolism is all connected to the passing of her because they felt like she was going to be somebody or she was you feel me? So just listen. I want y'all. She's breaking it down still, and I interject and let y'all know. For those of you who don't know, you know what I'm saying. I'll let y'all know. Yeah, it is Christy Harvey. It is her.
Okay, and anytime you put Leo and Virgo together, you have the Sphinx. And anytime you you have the Sphinx, you're looking at who? Segnet.
See her sign. They chose her because of her sign, her name. She's breaking down right now the hidden symbolism behind the Capricorn. Okay, its connection to the goat, the horns. I told y'all Capricorn. The symbolism in Capricorn is connected to the Pan god. The Pan god is the god of nature and mischief. Okay. But he was also connected to the dark planet of Saturn. All right. So she's telling you the symbolism of why it is that they chose Aaliyah to be, and she's breaking down why it is that they chose to knock her off at the time that they knocked her off as well. Okay. So y'all drop them names, man. We getting somewhere. We with this, or we going somewhere. Okay.
She is the most destructive power there is. She is the one that will be unleashed, to bring about this destruction. Okay. Now, the thing is that.
Drop them names if the audio good because they say I'm buffering, y'all. They say I'm buffering. Yeah, I'm not, but Barbara say, but I'm a Capricorn. I'm not. No, it's not that, man. Okay. We're talking about her. You're not a part of the occult. You're not partaking in it. Come on. It's deeper than that, y'all. They chose her for a specific reason because she signed up for that. Her parents signed her up for that. The moment they gave her to R. Kelly. Understand that. Okay? Drop them names, bro. Ain't no way R. Kelly got away with that long if it wasn't something that was going on inside of the community. Let's be for real. And if you from Chicago, bro, you know R. Kelly and what he was about. Because he used to show up at the schools throwing candy at the little girls, leaving a trail of candy. Nah. Let me stop it, man. But yeah.
Astrology, they're at an angle. Astrology energies work through angles. Okay? You combine, it's either between the modes or the elements that you're getting interaction. Okay? Well, the Capricorn energy is at an angle with the Leo energy that causes disruption. Okay? So in other words, they took her out during a time, where the energy was very disruptive to the Capricorn energy. Okay. So they were looking at all this symbolism. So and the time that they took her out represented the time where we're dealing with the Segnet energy. Okay. And that is the destructive energy that the Capricorn energy at its angle to that Virgo Leo energy would cause disruption. You see. So that's what was being symbolized there. Also, her name means the most exalted. Okay. Now, it says her name means most exalted. And what I want you to look at is I'm not able to write it here, but I want you to look at the spelling. Anybody know how to spell Aaliyah? Yes. Okay. Now, if you look in the Bible under Alleluia, it's almost the same spelling, you see. And what I'm doing is demonstrating the connection these people made as to who most was symbolic of this royal princess earth energy, okay? And who most, so what it is that, and then what it says Capricorn, indicating the daughter Earth of Saturn, which is the father of daughter Earth, and his prophesied return, okay? What they call themselves is doing is jumping the gun. In other words, they took out his daughter, and then they went through the twin gateways to keep illusion intact so that reality would not manifest itself, which is the spirit, okay? So then the next thing they did was decide, okay, now what we're doing is we're antagonizing God. We're antagonizing him. When they took out his daughter, we're shutting down this apocalypse. We want to hang on to the rulership, okay? So now what we got to do, and this is in the Bible here, as they come up, they talk about here, let me find it with my magnifying glass. It says, what I want to show you here is how they're going to, I want to get to the part where they're talking about let me see if I can find it right quick. If I can, I'll just tell you about it. Yeah, this is it. Here it is. It says, it talks about the kings and how, it says here, and I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. For they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of the great day of God Almighty. Okay? It says, behold, let me see. What it is that the great city was divided. What I'm trying to see here, because one part where they're talking about they gather them in Armageddon land, okay? And what they do is, it's a part in there, I can't find it right now, but they're talking about how they gather their troops and their forces to fight against God when he comes, okay? So that's what they were doing. They were antagonizing the situation so that they could gather their troops and try to fight against God when he came, which is Saturn, which is them antagonizing him by taking out his daughter and trying to shut down the apocalypse. That's what they were looking at. See, they're definitely looking at the Bible and trying to set up, what it is that they're trying to put forth as an illusion, for us to buy into. So what it is that they wanted to gather their forces and try to fight against him as he tried to come up against and avenge his daughter's death. So that's why Aaliyah was picked to symbolize that, you see. She was picked to symbolize the one who would be the most appropriate to symbolize that. It has nothing to do with her on an individual basis. It's more about her, her name, which was the most exalted one, her age, which meant balance, her energy, which is Capricorn, the earth daughter, the daughter of Saturn, or the daughter of Father, and so they could come up and fight against him as he come and tried to avenge, what it is that they had done. Okay, so that's the reason they used Aaliyah for that. Now, moving on to the Super Bowl. Now, first we want to look at the Super Bowl in Atlanta, okay? Because this is when I first started seeing the rituals that they do at the Super Bowl. Now, if you know anything about the Great Mother energy, the triple black energy, it's the Typhon energy, okay? Or the Titan energy, okay? That's when you're identifying with the Great Mother energy, you're talking about the Titan energy or the Typhon energy. Now, in the Super Bowl in Atlanta, we had the Titans against the Rams, okay? The black quarterback was with the Titans.
Barbara, if you want to see it clear, just go over to YouTube. I'm on YouTube streaming this as well. Go over to YouTube at I Am Awakened.
Which represented the Typhon energy.
By the gods of Olympus.
Yes, absolutely. Olympus, which is Zeus, which is their god.
Aries.
Yes, Aries. Getting back to the Aries, which is their god. Okay. So the ram. Anybody know what the rams represented in this Super Bowl? The Illuminati.
Sure is.
The Illuminati up against the Titans or the black energy. Okay? This was going into the new millennium. So this was the year going into the year 2000. In Atlanta, the city of metamorphosis. So they did not want it symbolized that the power was going back into the black hands or to the hands of the black power. So what they did was a huge ritual at halftime where they had a circle of water. They had the Great Mother rising up out of the water, okay? Which represents, you're right. They had what you call the Mandela. If you look up in the dictionary, it's like the seat of power of the universe, okay? And you have two deities behind you. They had Toni Braxton up on this Mandela. She had on all white, okay? And the people surrounding her had on all black, okay? What she was doing was pulling down the energy from the Great Mother, and she was ciphering that energy through, and they were absorbing it through the black clothing. All this is symbolic, you see.
Right, because black always attracts energy.
Right, and the white repels it. So she was ciphering that energy out for them to absorb it, you see. And this was to empower the Rams. They had all kind of Ram truck commercials going on. Now, you know the Super Bowl had the finest commercials, okay? But they keep bringing this old Ram truck commercial on. That was to symbolize who they wanted the energies to empower, okay? So they did their ritual, and they won the game, okay? They won the game. But that's when I first took notice of the ritual. They had all the symbolism, you know, to activate that energy and empower the Rams over the Titans, because they did not want it symbolized the power going back into the hands of the Titans or the black energy, okay, with the black quarterback, okay? So, but see, they can't do it without us. That's why they had to have, you know, that's why they had to have Toni Braxton, because we have the melanin. And the melanin is the same substance of the blackness of the universe, okay? Which is the soul.
Y'all drop them nines if you understand where she's coming from. Your soul is your magnetism. That's why you're able to pull a mass amount of people. And see, the reason y'all here right now is because of the magnetism me and this goddess brings, right? Not to mention we all vibrating at the same frequency. You see what I'm saying? But I'm just saying that's what she's getting at when she's saying this.
See, white folks.
She's saying that they have to have someone up there that has carbon, you know, that is carbon based, right? Because of the melanin in them. Okay, and what do they say? You have to have, in order to have a soul, you have to have what? I mean, you have to have melanin. Okay, so the melanin is the magnetism. Look, this is just the facts, y'all. Y'all drop them names.
Have spirits, they don't have souls. They don't have the souls. They keep bringing this old Ram truck commercial on. That was to symbolize who they wanted the energies to empower, okay? So they did their ritual, and they won the game, okay? They won the game. But that's when I first took notice of the ritual. They had all the symbolism, you know, to activate that energy and empower the Rams over the Titans, because they did not want it symbolized the power going back into the hands of the Titans or the black energy, okay, with the black quarterback, okay? So, but see, they can't do it without us. That's why they had to have, you know, that's why they had to have Toni Braxton, because we have the melanin. And the melanin is the same substance of the blackness of the universe, okay? Which is the soul, you see. White folks have spirits, they don't have souls. They don't have the souls. They can't reach out into the universe. They don't have the melanin to give them the fluidity to connect up with the universal forces, you see. So they have to use one of us to cipher that energy down from the universe through our melanin.
And that's because you evolve with the planet, which make you have the same genetic makeup as the universe. That's the difference. Okay.
And so that's why they like the biggest ritual of all is the Olympics.
The torch.
Yes.
I did a video on the torch. I did a whole lecture on the torch and the symbolism behind them passing the torch. Okay, so y'all go down to Timeline and check that video out that I did. It's like a 3-minute video. It ain't too long. I did a 3-minute video on the symbolism behind the torch.
Torch, the Olympics, you know, Zeus. They said Zeus would be proud, you see. Who did they use there? Muhammad Ali, you know. So you're going to notice anytime they're doing their rituals, they got one of us sitting on the top. They never let us on the top any other time. But this time they always got us right on top because they need
And you have to understand, Zeus is a carbonated being too. So
Because it takes the soul to bring
it takes the soul to bring in that energy. And plus, especially since they were doing an homage to the Great Mother, so they needed a black female to cipher that energy down and throughout, you see, to empower the realms, you see. So that's what that was all about. Now we get to the Super Bowl in New Orleans.
now I say, look, you can't look when you talk about how large the galaxy is, bro. I want y'all to understand, bro. When we talk about the Pleiades that was known as the Great White Martians, I keep telling y'all these beings, they had blonde hair, blue eyes, and things like that. So when she talks about this, you have to understand that we have Pleiades walking around every day. So just use a broad perspective. Now, it was a certain group of people that was created. It was a certain group of people that came from the Pleiades star system. So you feel me? You have to do your research. Okay.
2002. Okay. Now, they got the Super Bowl in New Orleans. Lo and behold, there's no such thing as coincidence. So how do we end up in Mardi Gras when the Super Bowl is in New Orleans? Super Bowl has never been that late in the year. Never, right? But all of a sudden, when we're in New Orleans, now all of a sudden, we're going to do this during the Mardi Gras.
Well, was Mardi Gras early too?
I don't know. All I know is that, was it? Yeah.
It wasn't
No, it wasn't in its usual position. Okay, I hear
A
you.
couple of years ago, before that Super Bowl you were talking about, you used to have to wait 2 weeks before you saw the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
Sudden, right? I think it's 98 or 99. That's when they changed it to waiting 1 week.
1 week.
Go basically playing the next week.
Right. But after what? 9/11? Why? We had to end up having the Super Bowl because what they did, they shut down a week of play in honor of, you know, the 9/11, which lined us right up with Mardi Gras in New Orleans. Okay? And let me tell you something about the Mardi Gras you may not know. It is representative of a ritual. It's the power of the elite to perform on the eve of Mardi Gras, you know, and they put it off. It's known as the debutante's ball. Okay? And what they do, there was a movie out. Watch this movie called A Murder of Crows. A Murder of Crows. Yes, with, what's his name? Cuba Gooding. Yuck. Cuba Gooding. In the very beginning of this movie, they break it down to you. The Mardi Gras is a ritual for the elite.
Actually, I just had to say this real fast. Sirius Star being say the movie Coneheads is about the Pleiadians. No, the Pleiadians are extraterrestrials and the Coneheads are interterrestrials. Okay, and it's a long story, but yeah, those are two different groups of beings.
Okay, and these costume parties, what's going on behind closed doors is this huge ritual of the elite. The mask of what is, let me see, I can't read my own writing here. Okay, this marks what they call, you know, in other words, what's going on in the mansions of New Orleans is a costume party which they tab as the debutante's ball, which actually is a ritual for the elite, okay? So you're combining all of this ritualistic.
The Coneheads had two complexions, okay? They had a lighter complexion and they had a darker complexion. See, that's how Yakub knew to take the weaker gene from the stronger gene because his mother was of a lighter complexion, okay?
Mardi Gras, Super Bowl And all of this is in conjunction with, you know, the 9/11 in the first place, you see, as they're trying to shut down this destructive energy, you know, this apocalyptic energy.
Also, there was another movie with Tom Cruise dealing with the same type of thing.
Eyes wide shut.
Yeah,
Yes.
the same type of ball.
Right.
And then Mystical had a video
Yes.
where he was in the same type of ball.
Yes,
Okay?
yes, see,
and
so-
all the sisters wore masks.
Yes,
And they
absolutely.
showed people like Roy Jones, people with big money that was in the video, like the elite or the people who got the money or supposedly has the power, and they have all these women around in skimpy clothes with the
Right,
mask on.
absolutely. You know, so can't you see, you guys, this was by design. This was planned, you see. This was planned. This not just something that just happened to coincidentally come together like this. This was them, you know. These people are desperate. They know what time it is. Desperate people do desperate things. And they know now it's time to pull out the big guns. All the rituals that they're doing, it's time now to bring these rituals all together, you know, and try to keep this apocalypse from happening. They're trying to keep the illusion intact, okay? So now we get to the Super Bowl in New Orleans. With time because of 9/11 with the Mardi Gras. And then now we got the Rams against who? The Patriots. America. Yes, absolutely. You know, now we're not looking at the Rams representing the Illuminati. Now we're looking at the Rams. What does Aries? What does the Ram? War. War on America with the Patriots. Okay.
So notice the symbolism, y'all. The Rams are a representation of that goat. Okay? The same goat that they've connected to Saturn, who is known as who? Hallel, Satan. Like yeah. So I'm just trying to make sure y'all know what's going on and why she's insinuating that, you know, she's trying to show you the symbolism behind it. Okay?
You got a Super Bowl with the warmongers versus America. Okay? Yes, you know. And it was all symbolic of, you know, the Patriots, of course, during the Super Bowl, they knocked out all the acts. I think they were going to have, who was that they were going to have up there? What's the sister's name? The singer. She was supposed to perform. I can't think of her name now. Mary J. Blige. She was supposed to perform. There was a few other acts, but they stepped to them before the Super Bowl and said, we're going to scatter you guys throughout. You know, we're going to let some of you perform beforehand, some of you later on throughout. But for the halftime, we're going to strictly focus on, what's U2?
Mariah Carey.
Yeah, you know, U2.
Yeah, that was the main one, yeah.
Yeah, that was the only one.
Yeah, that was.
They shut everything else down only to put U2 up there. They got on the Patriot colors, the Patriot uniforms. You see, they did a whole tribute to 9/11 as the names flashed through, you know. The whole thing, you should have known right then and there the Patriots was going to win the game.
Yeah, because number one,
What about the Clydesdales bowing in front of the Twin Towers?
Oh my, see, I didn't see that, you know.
You talking about I know what
Yeah, the horses, yeah.
and sun energy.
Yes, absolutely.
Bowed down in front of the Twin Towers.
Absolutely.
I
So,
think I called your result.
Y'all do me a favor, pound that like button and share it up, y'all. Pound the like button and share it up.
And I said, did you see the ritual going on?
yes, the ritual. And it was all about the Patriots. And I said, let me see, because I was remembering Atlanta Super Bowl. I said, so let me see what they're trying to indicate here. Let me see what this halftime Super Bowl is going to show me. And I had all Patriot. Wasn't nothing but
What
Patriot.
does that mean? He was standing in front of the stage, was in the shape of a big black heart with a red line around it.
Yeah, the heart of America.
That's what he's been
the-
on his tour.
Yeah, and
He's having that on his tours now.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Stage set like that.
Set like that, big heart. But then, if you saw, there was it was like an arrow piercing that heart. Okay, so arrow. piercing the heart, okay? So it's like the piercing, the piercing of the heart of America. Right. And it's going to be through the patriot. And then there was like a little symbol that it was like a heart, and then you saw an arrow, and then you saw two things coming out the side, okay? It was like, we're going to get through this through our patriotic spirit. We're going to get through the war on America that has pierced our heart. Absolutely, this symbol here. And there was when I first started going to Bobby Hebben's lecture, when he was still over there on Edgewood, and I remember we were doing a lecture and this guy showed up, and this guy, his energy was just, you just felt him. And he came and he stood and he just stood against the wall and he did that symbol. And you could feel him. And it was her name, Aphrodite, Sister Aphrodite, she's the priestess, the Yoruba priestess. She walked by him with her cane and she tap, 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 and then she walked by him again and tap, tap, tap. But he still wouldn't leave, so she finally went over there and asked him to leave, you see, because he's just standing there with a real evil look on his face with that symbol, you see. And when they got outside, they were in an argument, you see. He was debating her about the merits of us being there and the information that Bobby was trying to put out. But
yeah, because that's what they do. I keep telling y'all, they send them agents out, okay? When you start giving out that information, man, and you start doing them conferences like Bobby was doing, all you got to know it was agents in there. He wanted them to know who he was. I've heard him say it plenty times how they come. He wanted Bobby and them to know who he was. Drop them nines if you understand.
Notice that he did the same thing. He had the same symbol that they were doing on this Super Bowl.
So what were they, like this?
Like it's an upside down pyramid.
Because I remember one day I was watching it when that whole thing with Gary Condit.
Yes.
And I guess it was a Secret Service guy, this black Secret Service guy just came into camera view and just stood there like this.
Yes.
And just stood there. And then when the lecture, when Gary Condit was finished with his talk, then he moved back out of camera view.
Yes, that's it. And see, and it's an upside down pyramid. And if you'll notice in Atlanta, if you're going down toward downtown, it's one on the building up there. It's
Thanks for the stars, Will Smith.
Upside down pyramid. And I've had people say that when they get toward that spot, they can feel like a swerve in the energy. Okay? You see, so it's a disruptive symbol. And the heart that was the arrow that was piercing the heart was that upside down symbol. That's what was piercing the heart, that was surrounding the stage that U2 was on.
Thing about that, U2, they're not even from America. I think they're from
Ireland.
Ireland.
I know.
And that's one of the main places where the monarchy who set up this structure over here operate out of.
Right, because the people that were in cahoots, when I read about Hercules, he had to go get his brother, he had to go get his beloved friend, Hermes, in other words, he saw that it was too much for him by himself to stop this destruction or this apocalypse. So he went and got his friend, which is England. Which is England, because remember, Aaliyah was going to be a sacrifice for the Queen Mother of England. Right. Okay? So they came in and played their part, you see, by taking out Aaliyah, you see. And so it was all England and them in cahoots. That was their friend that was being symbolized when I read about Hercules getting his friend to help him shut down this destructive feminine energy. Okay? Which represents the...
Yeah, Emmanuel, the boys. I'm working on my site right now. I'm updating it. It'll be up very soon.
Apocalypse. They don't want the apocalypse. We do. It's time to let this bitch die, so Mother Earth can rise to her sacredness, you see. But if we do that, they lose their control. They lose their power. Our rise is their demise. So they're doing everything ritualistic to symbolize, stopping this apocalypse. And that first clue was them going through that twin gateway, which I just read to you, was how Hercules is supposed to shut down the apocalypse, okay? And then they want to antagonize. See, and I call Atlanta Armageddon land, because this is where the change is going to take place. When you turn Atlanta, you turn the world. We got the most spiritually dead people here because of this Bible Belt, mentality. You see, so if you turn Atlanta, the rest of the world comes easy. And I call it Armageddon land. Now, during this 9/11 thing, when they shut down all the airports, I live near the airport, okay? When they shut down those airports, planes was coming into Atlanta like they was going over my house, zoom, zoom, zoom. You know what they were doing? Bringing in their troops. This is Armageddon land. And remember me reading you from the Bible how they were going to gather their troops in Armageddon land to fight against God? So what they did was they took out the daughter, shut down, went through the Twin Gateway to shut down the apocalypse, and now they're gathering their troops in Armageddon land to fight against God, as they figure they have antagonized Saturn to come and avenge his daughter, you see. And then I heard it on the news. Oh, we got 30,000 troops at Fort McPherson. Right. We got 20,000 troops at Fort Dobbs. We got so many thousand troops at it's another fort. It was three. Fort Benning, okay? So, and they're not telling you, if they're giving you 20,000, that means they got 50,000, right, okay? So they were...
Thanks for the stars, Isha Octavia.
Their troops, and not to mention that Hartsfield is the most busiest airport there is, okay? Well, everybody was talking about, well, Atlanta's going to get hit. Oh, no, they weren't worried about Atlanta getting hit at this time. No, because, they were protecting Hartsfield, because this is where they were going to bring their troops in at, you see. This is Armageddon land, you see. This is where they're going to stand up and fight against. And now they got a martyr on the block talking about Alameen, you see. It takes a martyr. Yeah, where they gave him life without parole, but it's still a travesty here. But that is another reason. See, Atlanta is very significant. It's the city of metamorphosis. It's Atlantis, the counterpart, you see. This is one of the reasons why it is such an important and strategic spot here, you see. So that's what that was all about. Now, let's see, part 2. See. It says the earth is in the final throes of regenerative transformation. Okay? It's a process where the earth comes in conformity with the laws of the universe, which are the laws of righteousness. Mother Earth, from our physical perspective, is actually daughter Earth in the universal scheme of things, and is in the alchemical process of becoming a sacred planet. As our mother, we are the individual physical manifestation of this process of physical transformation into spiritual beings. Mother Earth is the planetary demonstration of a universal process. To become sacred, she must become full and whole, demonstrating the laws of righteousness as exhibited by qualities of each of the signs of the zodiac. Only until all of these principles are enacted can this process be complete. Leaving out just one principle would not be whole or complete and cannot reside within the sacredness of the universe. Mother Earth in her physical energy flow is going up against the grain of the universal spiritual flow, and thereby creating a degradation or a breakdown or falling away of those things that must be purged to reverse this energy motion. And in order to accomplish this reversal or transformation, a crucifixion process signaled by the fixed cross of August the 11th is unfolding. Now, any of you that have heard me talk, you've heard me mention time and time again that August the 11th, 1999, when all the planets were sitting in the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac, which represented or signaled the reversal of the energy from the physical to the spiritual rotation.
She's saying that they use the Mardi Gras as a symbolism to come to symbolize, as a symbolism. So they pushed the Mardi Gras up early to symbolize whatever they wanted it to symbolize in its connection to Aaliyah.
Okay? So we're in the third cycle of that. From 1999 to 2000 was one From 2000 to 2001 was the second cycle, and from 2001 to 2002 is the third cycle. Everything happens on the third cycle. In other words, we are starting to see the repercussions of that energy manifest now as we are, the third cycle is unfolding, you see. And that's why they are getting desperate. Their plan is to have the New World Order set up by 2003. That's been their plan, okay? And some...
See, when it comes to the New World Order, y'all, I want y'all to understand that they have agendas. Like, they have the 2025 agenda. They have the 2030 agenda. They try to do them in 5 to 10-year increments, okay? But make no mistake, you can go look up all of this on the UN's website, okay? Or type it in your Google. Just type up 2030 agenda. It's going to take you directly to the UN's website. They gonna give you the polite version of it, but, you got to use discernment. Y'all drop them names.
In my prior lectures, I mentioned the fact of the Mayan calendar, which says 2012, December 21st. This is when, because see, time is dropping right now. We're blending dimensions. Third and the fourth dimension are blending. And time is actually dropping, okay? We probably only got between 12 and 14 hours in the day at this point, okay? Right. And so what's happening is by 2012, it'll be at 0 point.
Which is where the Earth stops and gets ready to reverse.
Absolutely. This is when when we're lined up with the universal forces to make our crossover, you see.
That's when the gateway opens.
That's when the gateway opens, okay? So we've got 10 years to acclimate ourselves to this new paradigm that we are going into.
And it all goes back, I keep telling y'all, it's a gateway that opens every 10 years on the planet. And it's been opening since the year 1952.
Okay? And these people understand that. And they're doing everything to circumvent that. They're spraying stuff in the air because we're getting help from other galaxies, you see, because this is a universal thing. Right. The universe is trying to come into balance, you see. Mother Earth, which is daughter Earth, represents the princess. We've already heard about the prince, which is the son. We've heard about the king, which is the father. We've heard about the queen, which is the mother. And if the number 4 is balanced, all we need now is the princess to balance that. The mother, the father, and the prince has already taken their place. Now we need the princess, which is the number 4, to bring that balance in, you see. So if they can stop her from taking her place among the royal family, then they can circumvent the royal rulership from coming back in and return righteousness to an unrighteous civilization. They don't intend to practice righteousness, you see. Like I said, all 12 signs of the zodiac represents the principles of righteousness. Libra represents equality and fairness, right? Taurus represents values, you see. Capricorn represents sacrifice, you see. So if you leave one out, you're an aberrant entity. You're still in the physical rotation, right, going against the grain of the spiritual universal rotation, you see. So they want to continue this unrighteousness because that's where their power comes from. Because if we turn to start and empower ourselves through these righteous energies, then they lose their power. So this is why they're trying to circumvent that. They're spraying. They got the heart program going on. They're messing with our food. They're taking the seeds out, which is where the information comes from our mother, Mother Earth. They are doing everything to circumvent us from stepping into our empowerment, taking our rulership and claiming that rulership, you see. So that's what they're desperately trying to do, keep the illusion intact so we don't see through the illusion.
How long have I been saying this, y'all? It's all an illusion. They're trying their hardest to, so we got to touch on everything. We have to. See, you have to understand, when we talk about a spiritual warfare that's going on, it's taking place everywhere. So if I'm talking about a video over here that got to do with the music industry, you have to understand, bro, especially with our children, bro, the spiritual warfare is major in the music industry. And we got to tap on that. You see what I'm saying? It's everywhere. That's who misleading our children. Y'all drop them names, man. It's crazy.
Right now, We are supposed to be the vanguards. And you probably heard me say once, I'll say it 1,000 times, the white man had to rape Mother Earth of her materials to empower himself because he didn't have it within him. But the greatest deception came when he convinced us that we had to empower ourselves the same way that he had to empower his self. Because we do have the same thing in us that Mother Earth has in her. We don't need the material because we have the power. Okay? So they don't want us to see that. They want us to remain deluded about that, you see. So this is why they are trying to keep the illusion, which is the twin gateway. See, the twin gateway represents Gemini. You know, yeah, the duality of illusion versus reality. But we have to understand that reality is spiritual. Physical is the illusion. Okay? The physical is the illusion. All we are vessels of the spirit. Reflection of the spirit. That's the illusion.
And so for those of you who vibrate at the frequency of the Bible, that's why it says stronger is he that greater is he that is in you. Because the God is in your, this is a vessel, it's a temple, right? You feel what I'm saying? But that temple holds the God that's within yourself. Drop them nines if you understand where I'm coming from, bro. Like this is real. This is a false reality that we living in, bro. This is why they want to keep you here. They want to understand. You think they're going to waste their time setting up a whole fake ass moon, putting a soul trap station up there? You think they finna go through all that, bro? For nothing? Let's be for real. It's all about keeping the illusion over you. That moon ain't out all day for nothing. Look, the moon is out all day. We done talked about the moon. I done broke it down to you. We done proved it. It ain't supposed to be. We done went into NASA. Understand what I'm telling y'all, bro. The moon is what holds the illusion over us. It keeps the illusion of the material realm over us. And see, they're struggling at this point because it's getting weaker. And that's why you see that moon out all day. When we was children, you could never see the moon out that much. At night, that was the only time you seen the moon out. And then during the daytime, the sun was out. You never seen the moon out. Now you see it all day. Felicia Moore, what was your question, Reflection? You see it all day. We're most definitely, some of us are like batteries, okay? We most definitely like batteries, though. The moon has been damaged. Yeah, the moon been gone. And then come to find out, they said that it's a moon that's been traveling, that's been chasing our planet for 100 years, y'all. This moon been chasing our planet for 100 years. Could that be the original moon, Titan? Y'all better be, bro. It's like everything is coming out right now, y'all. Everything is coming out.
Okay? They don't want the illusion to be, exposed, see? So that's why they're fighting so hard against that, because they know it's transformation time, you see. It's time for them to lose power and for us to step up to ours. Now, we were supposed to be the vanguards. We were supposed to stop him from raping the earth. We were supposed to say, hey, we were supposed to, but yet and still, we still, give me some too. Fighting.
And see, I got to slow it down a little bit here because I got to break this down, y'all. Why is she saying that? Because you have to understand, bro, we are the gods and goddesses of this realm, of this plane, of this planet. So we were the ones who were supposed to protect it. And see, you have to understand, this is why it's so important for us to get back to that God state, because we are the ones who are supposed to bring the balance back to it as well. Y'all drop them nines. It's real. Okay? We allowed them to come in and take our land. Okay, kill the balance of it, and now we have to get back to the restoration of it. We the only ones who can do that.
Ours too, you see. But when we understand that that's what's keeping us grounded, that's what's keeping us in a box. When we understand that these rules and regulations and the illusion has no power over us, then we will step into our empowerment. But that is the
I got you, Goddess Felicia Moore.
Illusion that they want to keep intact so we don't empower ourselves. We are supposed to be the ones to identify to the universal forces when an unrighteous act has occurred so those forces can move forth and make a correction. Okay? We are the ones, we are the sacrificial lamb. In other words, as you're going about trying to accomplish what it is you're trying to accomplish, and somebody comes down on you unrighteously and stops you from accomplishing that, you are supposed to appeal to the energy of the universal forces and say, here's an unrighteous act, okay? You know, now if you're about righteousness, you know, we have to attack that, you see. But you have to, don't expect that your personal needs are going to be attended to. That's how we get messed up. What we have to do is change the system. The spirit does not work on personal level. It works on a larger level. So what you have to do is identify to them the system that caused this to happen to you. Okay? So we make a sacrifice. In other words, we're not expecting to be, you know, the restitution from the spirit on a personal level, but
that's
we're
big facts, Lean Bean.
asking the spirit to change the system that made this occur to us on a spiritual, on a physical level. And what we have to start doing now is investing in the whole, and then let it have personal repercussions. Okay? So we think, okay, it's not working because it hasn't made it right in my personal life. So I'm not really demonstrating my power. But what it's going to do is identify the system that caused that, and that's where the change is going to occur, okay? But we have the power to activate. We are supposed to be the ones bringing on the apocalypse. Because every time one of us get righteously indignant, this is what identifies to the universe where to go in and make that correction at. So we are supposed to be the ones, when we get righteously, if enough of us got upset about some horrendous thing happening in Houston, Texas, then next thing you know, we see a flood, a tornado. Why do you think that happens? We've activated that energy to do that, okay? Our power works through nature. It works through the elements. It works through the water, the fire, the earth, and the air. So, you know, so we can bring up an earthquake if it's an earthy thing. You know, we can bring up a tornado if it's an air thing or a mental thing. We can bring up, you know, the heat waves, you know, if it's passions that's under attack.
Andrew Robinson, thanks for the nines. Yeah, see, this goes back to the original powers that me and Chief Wynot was talking about when we did the lecture on basically telekinetic abilities. We spoke on pyrokinetic abilities. We spoke on aerokinesis. Like, bro, all of these abilities are the abilities that we should have, you know, because we are the kings and the queens of this planet. We are the emperors and the emperors, the gods and goddesses. We should be connected because we have the same genetic makeup as the wind, as the sun, as the, bro, this planet is our, we're everything and everything is us, okay?
We can bring forth the, what I leave out, the air, fire, earth, water, the floods, you know, the rains, the torrid rains. That's our energy that can activate these things to happen when we identify the unrighteousness of what is occurring, you see. The universal forces, which is about righteousness. In other words, you're saying, okay, universe, if you're about righteousness, and for us to become a sacred planet, we have to restore righteousness. That means we can identify to these universal forces the unrighteousness, and it should move forth and attack that area. We want the apocalypse, you guys. Stop propping this up. We're propping up the illusion. We're keeping ourselves in oppression, because as soon as we break the material bondage that liberates us, you see, a lot of us are afraid to make that step because we're still hanging on to the limitations that the physical world has programmed in us that makes us think we're subjected to that. We got to come out of this victim type mentality because we're the most powerful beings of the universe. But if we don't claim that power, then, you know, we are going to be victimized. And like I said, anyone who can define what you believe defines what you create. And that's why they've gone through such elaborate, you know, rituals to symbolize that. That's why the Super Bowl in Atlanta, where they didn't want it, symbolized the power going into the black hands. They don't want us to see that. They don't want us to recognize that, you see, that we do have the power. That's why they give us the definition of nigger as the lowest of the low. And when you look in the dictionary under Negus, you'll see that it's the highest, the king of kings, you see, that it's the sovereign of Ethiopia, you see, because if you hear that word and you think king of kings, then that's the reality you're going to create. But if you think lowest of the low, then that's the reality you're going to create for yourself also.
I'm most definitely going to let you know when it come out, J. Mons.
So that's why they have always programmed us to think that we are victims, because they don't want us to see the power. Everything happens in duality, opposites. So if they're the material kings and we're the spiritual kings, you see, then, and if we're moving now into a spiritual rotation, you see, guess who's gaining power and guess who's losing power, you see. But we are still caught up in the proverbial material carrot. This is a world of distraction. It's to distract you from what you should be looking at so that you can open up to your power and help heal Mother Earth. That should be our sole role at this time, to find ways to heal Mother Earth. Because as we heal Mother Earth, we heal the universe, and then we blossom.
Because see, here's the thing, right? They want you to believe that they're doing everything to protect the planet. When you talk about people like Bill Gates, okay, and I always mention Bill Gates, bro, because he just disgusts me, y'all. Drop them names if Bill Gates disgusts you. Okay, drop it in the chat. Say, Bill Gates disgusts me, bro, because guess what? Bill Gates is the leading fucking, bro, he's in charge of this whole thing, y'all. But see, I want y'all to understand that Bill Gates is a fucking reptile. Don't let that go over your head, bro. People have done research and already found out, bro, when we go to Ancestry.com, bro, allegedly Ancestry.com is saying that Bill Gates and his wife Melinda Gates had already passed away. So who is this that we dealing with that thinks it's okay to put human meat inside the food, who wants to block out the sun when the sun is the giver of all life, okay? Everybody on the planet will suffer as a result of the sun being blocked out. It don't make sense. No food will yield from the ground anymore, bro. You see what I'm saying? Like, we're going to be S out of luck, y'all. SHIT out of luck if he blocks the sun out. So you ask yourself, who is this that we're dealing with? We're not dealing with the average person, y'all. We're not, like, bro, we have to think outside the box. That's all I'm trying to say here. Barbara say Bill Gates is trash. Most definitely, bro. Look at what Bill Gates is doing, bro. He's destroying the planet as a collective whole, bro. He don't care, bro. He don't care. Y'all better wake up, man.
To the full power and the full godhood of our power, you see. So that's what they want us want to distract us from. In conclusion, it says the part 4, okay? Okay. It says here, just back here, I'm trying to find, now what part did I want to read here? Okay, well, here I just have the 12 principles of righteousness. That's the one. Oh, no wonder, it's not the one. Part 2, part 3, and I need part 4. Here we go. It says here, I got just 4 points I want to make in conclusion. It says, we are the only source of the supreme energy known to us by the energy of Saturn, or Set, the first son of the original great mother of the abyss, which is space, night or darkness, which are her symbols. And a superabundance of darkness, metaphysically, is light. Okay? Darkness adopted illumination in order to make itself visible. Okay? So the power comes from the dark. Okay? The light only manifests the power of the dark. Okay? Things as
now, why was that? Because guess what? Before he said, "Let there be light," what did the light come from? Y'all drop it in the comment section. Where did the light come from? And that, you have to understand, that's why darkness is so strong. The light came from the darkness, y'all. Y'all have to understand that, bro.
In reverse. Set or Saturn lost his reign when at the advent of the solar or Aryan or Olympic versus Typhon period, the worship of the fatherhood in heaven became established. Then time was reckoned by the sun instead of as formerly by the stars and the moon. This was demonstrated physically or materially as our ancestors lost their reign. Okay? In other words, when we went into the Aryan or the solar reign, you know, we came out of the reign of the great mother, you know, which is the blackness, the universal blackness, which is the melanin power, you see. So that's when things reversed. And now it's time to reverse it back, okay? Through the study of our ancestor burial tombs, the Olympian god Zeus, or Jesus, Jesus and Jesus, they're the same thing, of light was elevated by the people of deception as a means of mass manipulation and oppression by diversion while they pimp our energy for their own empowerment and advancement. Okay? And the final point is the opening spiritual gateway into a new era of enlightenment and the illumination of the first eye in conformity with the universal laws of righteousness, which is accessible to us through the guidance of our ancestors and mechanisms of nature for a new beginning. Okay? That's what time it is. It's transformation time. And we need to step up and step into our rulership as, you know, this time unfolds for us. And there's going to be all kind of distractions. If you'll notice, right after 9/11, when we got into, that was September 11th, and then that was the Virgo energy. And when we moved out of the Virgo energy, we moved into the Libra energy. And this was a time for us to get at peace with our spirit, to understand that our spirit got our back. And no matter what chaotic situation occurred, you know, that our spirit, we could rely on our spirit to bring us through, okay? But at the same time that we were supposed to be getting in touch with our spirits and getting at peace and in partnership with our spirit, what were they flashing on TV every time you turned on the TV? War, 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 which is the opposite, Aries energy. Aries is the opposite of Libra. You see, so this is just showing you the methods that they use to distract us, okay? At the time that we were supposed to be getting in peace with our spirit and understanding that our spirit was going to lead us through any disruption of this physical, they were trying to distract us with a message of war, which is...
Oh, Andrew Robinson, you ain't got to worry about that. I'm a victim of that, so you know we're going to talk about that every chance I get. But I promise you, bro, that was validation. You just gave me validation because I was just thinking about doing another one of those videos. So I got you most definitely.
The opposite energy of what we should have been focusing on, see? So whenever they tell you to look up, you look down. They say look left, you look right. Because they're always trying to distract you from something that they don't want you to see, okay? So that's what this is all about. I had some... more information. What I wanted to also get in right quickly was to talk about the issue with the crematorium, okay? And information Spirit gave to me, you see. And when I first really thought about it, I was like, okay, now think about this objectively. What is it that, what benefit would a bunch of white bodies have, okay? That's what we need to look at here. Let's forget about all the other issues that they got going on here and try to understand what is the significance of an abundance of white bodies. Now, I want you to understand that they may have found a few bodies scattered, but most of those bodies were in tombs. They were in vaults. They had 50 bodies in each vault. They were preserving these bodies.
Wow.
Yeah, yes, they were preserving these bodies. And what role would white bodies have? Okay? And this is the way I thought. I said, what purpose would they have for a bunch of white bodies, preserving a bunch of white bodies? And then I remember Bobby Hammond saying a long time ago, if they could use our body parts, we would have been gone already as black folks. But they can't put a black arm on a white body. They can't put a black arm or leg on a white body. He said, you're going to start seeing white folks disappearing because they want their body parts. You have to recognize it's an elite group, you see. It's an elite group that is controlling everything. Organs. Yes, organs. I don't know if it's so much the internal organs because, you know, I don't know how they, but anyway, I got some information from a friend of mine. He said he had got this book.
Okay, so real quick, let me tell you what she means when she say this elite group. I want y'all to know we got a lecture coming up, right, on these draconian reptilians. And we digging deep in, but I want y'all to understand when we talk about the elite group of draconian reptilians, bro, they're pale in skin, y'all. They got wings and everything, bro. So, you know, and you have to understand, bro, we're gonna dig into how these reptiles are actually the real Luciferians. This is where Luciferianism comes from. Okay? So when they talk about that great in the Bible, when they're talking about that great dragon, that old dragon, they're talking about these reptiles. Because Satan, okay, or the serpent that was in the garden was actually a reptilian, which we're gonna touch on too, when, you know, doing that live, y'all. So drop them nines, man. It get deep, y'all. It get deep. So you have to understand. This is what I want y'all to understand, y'all. That it's not a race thing. It's a species thing. They had to do what they had to do, right, to create the confusion so that we would overlook the fact that it was another species, okay? See, you have to understand, bro. What did they say the devil's greatest thing? To make you believe that he didn't exist. You see what I'm saying? And that's what they doing with these Luciferians, okay? So it's called divide and conquer, all right? It's called divide and conquer. While we arguing with each other, bro, they setting up, they working behind the scenes, running the show. Y'all drop them nines, man.
And this book he read it in 78.
But, and hold on, let me just touch on this one more time. I need you to understand, for the gods and goddesses, we are the only ones that can restore the peace, the balance back to the planet. Okay? So we're waiting for us to become more consciously aware of what's going on, because once our frequency begins to rise, everybody else's frequency gonna rise around us, man. Y'all drop them nines, man.
They were talking about having the technology to now be able to attach different body parts to different bodies. They were saying as long as they had a head, this is where the bionic man and bionic woman came out. As long as they got a head.
Thanks for the stars, Missy Hazep. Haslip. I think, I apologize when I pronounce the name right.
They can attach the rest of the body. And they said that they were improving this technology so that it would be, you know, available by the year 2000. Okay? And they said that they was preparing that if there was a nuclear war or any type of catastrophe, that they would be ready. They would be prepared. Yes.
Right.
So think about what you think is going on at that crematorium, okay? And what that is all about, okay? That is all about body parts and them having a ready supply and being prepared for the disasters or the
okay, that's Hayes Lip. All right, I apologize.
Catastrophes that they know. See, they also want a disruption because they want to install the New World Order. You know, they want chaos. You see, that's why they're even doing this Alameen thing, you see. They purposely postponed his trial to after 9/11 and then put a bunch of black Christians, you know. And I don't care if they'd have brought the killer right up in their face, they still would have said, oh, he's guilty because he's a Muslim.
That's what everybody was looking at.
Yes.
The fact that he was Muslim.
Right.
Not the fact of everything he had done.
And that's the reason why they postponed the trial, you know, to get this sort of verdict, okay?
That's one of the biggest wars that's been going on.
Absolutely. The Muslim versus the Christian. That's what this...
The Holy War.
Yes, absolutely. And they're counting on us getting so upset that they can pull out the big guns, you know. See, they want this, you guys. They want a reason to declare martial law. We're already in martial law, but they want to declare martial law. But they need something very.
Thanks for the stars again, Marshall Hazlip. I mean, Minnie Hazlips. I apologize, Reflection. But yeah, getting to this right. She's saying that we're in martial law already, y'all. We are. We have not left martial law. I think it was declared a while back that we was in martial law. And if you want to read deeper on that, man, go get the book Behold the Pale Horse. He touches on that. He touches on how we're still in martial law. So if you want to read more about that, yeah, do that.
Chaotic in order to be able to do that, and where they can come in full control, okay? I also got some information, you know, my sister back there, she got me this information, and it ties Bush in the state of Florida, the state of Texas, to another crematorium. The same things. Florida and Texas, okay? What's common about Florida and Texas? Bush.
Because his brother runs for the
Right. Right. You see, and they tie him into incidences associated with the same sort of crematorium expatade that happened here. Okay, he has it's supposed to be someone who contributed to his campaign. They call him SCI. Service Corporation International, which was a main contributor to the Bush campaign. And so, you know, so they had to clean him up and get him out of the spotlight in time for election, you know, as far as him being associated with that crematorium thing that came down through the Service Corporation International. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if they're not a part of what went on here at this crematorium, and they're trying to cover it up, and the best way to cover it up is to get a black scapegoat. Because nobody will look beyond that. They already on the warpath. They already in a mentality now. Right. How dare these niggas come forth and do this to us, you see. Right. So they're not even trying to look beyond the surface of what is going on here, because they got a black scapegoat. And how did they get them? I say they're all clones.
Because you did not see a sparkle in that dude's eyes like you would.
He looked like he's cloned. He don't even, you know.
He walked in, it's like he had no emotion or no feeling.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to add to.
And the scapegoat always goes back to the 48 laws of power too, y'all. Okay? So the 48 laws of power, they big on that. I keep telling y'all, that's one of their handbooks too.
What you said, which goes on with what I received the spirit also. Studying metaphysics, I learned a lot about Satanism and necroism. And this is how you so-called get a person's soul or their spirit to leave a certain body so they can use certain technology to put, or in so many words, to put a demon or...
What was that, Minnie?
A spirit of their liking into a body.
Absolutely.
And that's the first thing I thought about when that happened.
And let me tell you, I just recently came back from Houston, and the first thing I noticed when we were driving into Houston, me and my daughter-in-law, was all these chemical plants. Chemical plants, chemical plants, chemical plants. And then as I started talking to the people there, they said all the children have asthma.
Interesting.
All of your children have asthma, okay? Now these chemicals are pumping out, and now prisons. Texas is known for their prisons. They're killing these people in the prisons. Now you have these chemical plants pumping out, and it's breaking down in other words, it's making these people very susceptible to spirit invasion. Okay? Spirit can just walk in at will, you see. And they were telling me about how
I got you, Reflection, no problem.
people do uncharacteristic. They'll walk in at a dinner and start shooting up and, you know, coming on your porch and killing you. That's because these spirits from these prisons where they're killing these people have easy access to coming in and taking control of these people, because they're breaking down their resistance, you know, to their that spirit invasion, you see. Get used to the fact that we are blending with the fourth dimension. Anybody go see the movie The Others? Okay.
We headed into the fifth now, y'all. We headed into the fifth now.
This was about a ghost story. And in the end, you found out the real people, the people that we were watching was really the ghost. You know, and go ahead.
Was that out last summer?
Yes, it was, remember when they were advertising it where the little girl was sitting in the white and the mother comes in and she said, and it's the old woman, she said, "Where's my daughter?" And she said, "What's the wrong? I am your daughter, Mommy." You know? That was that movie there, okay? Very interesting movie because, yeah. And see, what it did was it gave me a perspective of looking at the fact that we are blending dimensions. You see, we're living in simultaneous dimensions, you see. And so now that time is dropping and we're blending dimensions, we have more access to spirit and spirit has more access to us, okay? We're living in conjunction with the spiritual world. So, so these white folks understand this, and especially in Texas, this is the land of Illuminati. They have it set up so that they can just, and they said it's all, the chemical plants are all in the poorer sections of town, you see. And so, this is definitely.
And those are your concentration camps for the new millennium.
Yes. And
also the chemical plants that I'm told are ran by the same people who supplied the gas chambers during World War II when Hitler was in control. Because another thing to remember is that Bush's family is not from America. They're originally from Germany. They're neo-Nazi. Matter of fact, his grandfather was one of the people who helped to set up the Federal Reserve Bank. Right. So they had their hand in the money. Yes. And then also, his great-grandfather was a part of it.
Yeah, because I think during that time, if I'm not mistaken, I think Nixon was in office around the time the first Federal Reserve came into play. Now, I don't know who it was because, see, the Federal Reserve wasn't even the Federal Reserve at first. It was actually a central bank. It was the first central bank of America. That was the name of it. And then someone caught wind. I forgot the name of the person who caught wind of it, but he was a big reporter. He caught wind of it and exposed the fact that they were using basically the central bank to extort America in terms of basically having control over it. Okay. And so Congress wouldn't vote it back in. So that's when Jekyll Island came in. Okay. And they had to come up with a wittier way to basically, get them to have a central bank in America. And they came up with the Federal Reserve Act of 1913.
Yes. And he
trained Hitler.
And when they talk about the skull and crossbones,
that's the main.
That's the with the secret society, the Illuminati. Right. We're getting back to that, and that's where he has to lay in the coffin. Right.
They based a comic book character on that, the Red Skull, who was Captain America.
Fighting against Captain America.
Absolutely. See, the truth is in the mythology. It's in the comic books. It's even in the movies. But they want us to look at it as fantasy. You see, we should be taking it seriously. Yes.
A lot of the technology, like another thing dealing with, let's say, for instance, the UFO.
Yes.
Now you notice the UFO scare didn't increase until after 1947, the Roswell incident.
Right.
Also, at the same time that happened, that was Project Paperclip, which helped to sneak out all the different Nazi scientists and bring them over here to North and South America. This includes everybody, because that's where the main places where they were discovering the different mind control methods.
Yes.
The UFOs we're probably seeing today are not real. They're created here on Earth.
Right.
Because, matter of fact, the Nazis had Foo Fighters.
Right.
That looked like UFOs.
Right.
They could drop bombs and blow them out just like that.
Right. Because see, our ancestors, and we're the original, we're the ones, we're the only creative force, okay? They cannot create, they cannot, we are the one that create. And see, our ancestors didn't need technology. They didn't need spaceships. We're energy beings, we're light beings. Anybody come telling you to step into a ship, you better tell them to step off, because we have the capacity of just blinking here, blinking there, okay? We don't need spaceships and technology. So anything that is not of us, is something mighty screwy going on here, okay? We don't need spaceships. Our ancestors abandoned technology, okay? They abandoned it, you see.
Yeah, the main reasons why they didn't want to deal with it.
Right, because they abandoned it.
Because they understood that we are the technology. What we need technology for when we are connected to the planet and the universe. Our ancestors manifested instantly through a thought. They ain't need none of this, bro. Like, let's be for real.
It was limiting.
Not saying they couldn't do it.
Right.
They could do it because
They abandoned
they
it.
even discovering that the pyramids weren't tombs, as they've told everybody. They were energy generators.
Generators. They're nothing but energy points, you see.
Right.
You know, and so power, how to access power. Our ancestors knew how to access power, okay? And this is what they did. They especially us here in America, the first thing they did was to conquer us because it was more of us here than we know. There was fewer came from Africa than we realized, okay? You know, we were already here with the tombs. See, because South and North America was actually a part of South and North Africa at one time.
Yeah.
Okay? So the people that were here already were still of the same. They found just as many tombs and pyramids here, more so than they found over there, you see. So what they did, they came in, they conquered us as a people, okay? Then they studied us for this power, because this is the Moors. And the Moors believe they live by astrology. Theirs is a cosmic constitution, all about power, okay? So they studied us as Moors, learned about the power. You know, it was a Moor that designed Washington, D.C. as a PowerPoint center. Energy, yeah, So they studied us, and then they put us into slavery. Then they made us forget who we are, that we were the original inhabitants of this land, okay? The Moors actually designed the Constitution to protect our rights. That's why they keep adding amendments and stuff, you know, to change that, you see. But if we know the original language of the Constitution, we could use that to get out from under all the rules and laws and regulations that they're putting on us now, see. But they made us forget that we are the original inhabitants, you know, and they studied us and stole the information so that they could empower themselves, and then they made us forget about it and look up to them as the ones who were the creators of this power, you see. So, you know, so everything they got, they stole from us, you know, but now the veils are being lifted. We're in the Pisces energy now. Pisces is about completion. It's the last sign of the zodiac. It means fulfillment. That means it's a subconscious energy. That means we go deep inside. We pull out everything that we've suppressed, everything that we have swallowed. You know, now all that has to come out. This is like the rinse cycle. And the reason it has to come out is because this is the end of a phase. We are getting ready to move into a whole new cycle. When we go into the Aries energy, that's a whole new beginning at a higher level. So now we have to wrap up the ugly details of this last level. We can't carry that old baggage. So all this stuff is going to bubble to the surface from deep within our subconscious so that we can put those things to rest. Pisces is the energy of death, the final death. You know, putting to rest all those issues that will come.
And then you have to understand that death does not mean the end of something, but it means, well, it does mean the end. It just means the end of a cycle, but it's also a representation of the beginning of a new one.
Up and
hence is why we got the Aquarius cycle. See, I told y'all. See, that was the death of an old cycle. See, what she's talking about is Pisces was the death of the cycle of the moon, the 6,000 years of rulership that they had us up over us, which was the 6,000 years of the dead, because that was the moon cycle. Okay? So now, when we talk about Pisces representing the end, I told y'all death is not just, it's the end of a cycle, but it's also the beginning of a new one. Hence is why Aquarius cycle came in, right, which is what we're in now. And now the gods and goddesses are woke. They want to know who they are more. It's no coincidence. It's because we're in that cycle. We're in the age of the awakening, okay? The age of information. You see what I'm saying? And this is why everybody is beginning to awaken. And this is why information is becoming so easily accessible. Y'all drop them nines, man.
Us in the ass as we move on to a new way of operating. We got to wrap those up and put those to rest, you see. That's what this Pisces energy is doing, because as we step into Aries, it's time for a new beginning. We step into our warriorship. We step into our Jason. Remember me mentioning at the beginning that the Aries energy represented two levels, the lower level and the higher level. The Hercules was the lower level. You know, now we're looking at the Jason story, where we're getting ready to become the warriors, but we're going to become the warriors for righteousness, you see, which is the opposite sign of Aries, Libra. Okay? And I never talk about one sign without talking about its opposite, because then you're getting the full contents of the message, you see. That's what they've done. They've programmed us literally so we don't see the bigger picture, you see. We got to start looking from a universal perspective. And then we can start operating in our fullness. But as long as we only come from the physical, we're only operating at half mass, you see. So we have to start now seeing when things happen, what is the universe trying to say? Bump what the newscaster is telling you. What is this signaling from the universe, you see? Like I keep using the example of the black woman that got killed at the Olympic bombing here in Atlanta. What was the message from the universe with that? You know, why did one black woman get killed? You see, this is not your party. This ship is going down. If you're hung up in it, you're going to go down with it. That was the message there. That was what we should have been opening our first eye to see. The same I mentioned before with O.J. Simpson. Simpson was nothing but the Samson and Delilah story. Okay? This man giving his energy to the woman of the enemy of his people. It wasn't about O.J. per se. It was about the black man, you know, laying up here with the white woman, snubbing his nose at the great mother herself, the triple blackness, and expecting to prosper when you're turning your nose up against the great mother. Okay? That's what that was about. Okay? And how many people didn't get that lesson, like Puffy Combs and Montel Williams, you know, see. So you have to understand that the message is not a singular message. It's a bigger message than what we're looking at from the physical perspective, you see. So when you start trying to question what's happening, don't ask why from a physical level, you know, you ask the universe why. And you'll get a whole nother perspective of what is going on here, okay? It's time for us to open our first eye. It's time for us to see the fullness, because that's where our power comes from, holistically. If we are operating from a holistic position, and that means using all 12 signs of the zodiac, which is within us. That's the power within us that we can tap into, you know, that they can't, you see. Each sign of the zodiac represents a principle of righteousness. And we start practicing those 12 principles of righteousness. This is what causes our transformation, and which brings us into a holistic way of operating and connects us with the universal forces, which empowers us, you see. So we have to stop literalizing and fractionizing and separating, you see. You know, only until we operate from a wholeness can we empower ourselves. Spirit does not work on a personal physical level. It has to be undergoing it has to be taking care of a problem which represents the wholeness of the problem, you see. And in order for us to attack that, we have to see it from a holistic point of view, and then we can instruct the energies or the universe on how, you know, or what needs to be accomplished or what needs to be solved, you see. But we are the ones that have to identify that, and that's through our righteous indignation. That's the reason why they try to keep us pacified. Don't get upset about that, you know, because the minute we do get...
And that's why they always try to portray us as the angry one. We have it. They give us that image like we just angry, like, bro. And that's just not the case. But see, we're natural warriors, bro. We're naturally that way. You feel me?
Righteously indignant. That's when we are empowering the spirits, you see, to move forth and make that correction from, you know, the universal laws. In other words, we're coming up under the universal laws. You see, whenever we are operating under the righteous principles, we're coming under the laws of the universe. That's how come we can activate that power when we come up under that power, you see. But they have given us a reversed or an opposite reality, you see. And we have to now reverse that and know our power, okay? We're moving into that Aquarian age where it's about I know. We're coming out of the Piscean age, which is about I believe. It's no longer enough to believe. You have to know who you are. You have to step up to that rulership as rulers, you see, else the spirit is not going to respond. And if you're going to say, activate this, take care of that, and then look back to see if it's happening, yeah, you got to just step out. When I tell people to do their rituals, I tell them, when you step out of that circle, you leave it with the spirits. You don't think about it no more. You don't worry about it no more. You step out with the full knowledge or knowing that whatever you set those spirits loose to accomplish, then they will actually accomplish it. But look at a higher level than your own personal level. A lot of times we get what we ask for, but we don't get it, if you know what I mean. Okay? So start looking holistic. Start looking at the bigger picture, okay? You know, and you will start seeing things from a universal perspective, and that's when you will empower yourself to control or to rule these energies. We are the universal rulers. Know that and operate under that, and that is what's going to heal the earth. That's what's going to cause the transformation. That's what's going to connect us with the universal forces and balance the universe, okay? Next week, I'll give you the story of Jason. Not next week, next month. The first Wednesday of the month, I'll give you the story of Jason, our role in all of this at this point, you see.
Oh, y'all know I'm going to look for the story of Jason. I need to look for that story. Drop them nines if you want to see the story of Jason. Y'all drop them nines if you want to see the story of Jason.
So, hopefully, I've given you some information that will get you in touch with your spirit, which will also get you in touch with your power. You know, start operating under that power, start knowing who you are, and stop falling for the illusion. Stop falling for the delusion. See, first they put forth the illusion, and then we start deluding ourselves, you see. So we got to come up out of that. But the only way to do it is to follow your own spirit. Don't look for a leader outside yourself. It's only the one inside of you that's going to give you your own unique path and guidance, okay? So please come back and get the other half of the story next month, the first Wednesday of the month at 7:30, because we're going to be breaking down some stuff. We're not going to, this is a crucial time, and it's not time for us to have our heads in the sand. It's time for us to know what's going on in order to identify our role, you know, and how we participate in turning things around. So thank you for coming out. I appreciate you being here, you know, and I love giving out this information.
Let me tell y'all this, man. Like, you could just tell, bro, it's been a fight. It's been a fight to get up to this point. Everyone has been fighting. Look at what you see. It's not too many people in that room, but I guarantee you, if this was in today's, bro, that room would be full. It'll be packed, because it's just to show you how much the frequency has risen since she's given this lecture. Okay? And I want y'all to understand this too, man, bro. I'm going to tell y'all, it wasn't until I started to realize how powerful I was and how much, you know, I was in control of my reality. That was when I began to step into my power, bro. It's not one thing that I set out to manifest that I did not receive, y'all, because I started to put those laws of the universe into effect. I live bound. For real. Drop them nines if you rock with the laws of the universe, and if you live by the laws of the universe, bro. I preach from the standpoint of the laws of the universe, bro, because if you want to manifest, you have to put those laws into effect. You create your own reality. You feel me? And see, it all goes back to what I said, man. You have to understand. The reason that there is a television in your home is so that you will manifest the reality that they want to have, because they're not connected. These species, these beings, okay, that come from the Draco star system. Understand what I'm saying, bro? They are not connected. These are fourth dimensional and fifth dimensional beings, bro. They can't get out of here. They can't look. So they have to put a television in your home so that you will manifest what they tell you, that the lifestyle that they want. They want to have a hierarchy, y'all. They want to have rich, middle class, and poor. You manifest that, because every day you go chase the American dream, you're manifesting that. Okay, and the ones who choose to just tap out unplug completely, they're manifesting it as well. Because some of them actually see it. All right? And that's big facts, y'all. That's big fact. But I really do hope that y'all enjoyed this live, man, and that y'all really learned something from this live. But if y'all took anything away from this live tonight, I want y'all to take away from the fact that you are everything and everything is you, and that you are connected. You are in control of your reality. You manifest it through your thoughts. Through your thoughts. It first starts with a thought. Then you profess it, meaning you speak it. Then you put that energy into emotion. You put that emotion into it, and it all begins to manifest. But that's going to be based on the energy, the frequency you're at during the time, okay? And so with that being said, man, y'all make sure y'all get over to YouTube and hit that subscription button, man. Also, don't forget to hit that post notification bell and select all. That way you will be notified every time we go live. More of these lives is going over there. As y'all can see, Facebook been playing with the lives, man, every time I get on here. So y'all make sure y'all get over there. And if this is your first time watching me on YouTube, please don't forget to hit that subscription button. Also, don't forget to click that post notification bell as well, man, and select all, because the same applies to you. Also, like I said, get over to Instagram, because we finna be going over there real soon, and we're going to build. If you someone who got the knowledge, right, even if it's from a different standpoint, I don't care what area it's from. Okay, if you want to talk about the celebrity world and how the spiritual warfare is going on in celebrity world, whatever it is that you want to touch on, if it's going to enlighten us and it's going to help us grow as a group, as a guy, you know, then you bring that, all right? And that's going to be on at Instagram at @IamAwakened_chosen1, man, all right? That's Instagram at @IamAwakened_chosen1, man. And with that being said, I just want to leave y'all as I came. I want you guys to always be aware, because to be aware is to be alive. And as always, peace, family. Peace, meaning positive energy, always creates elevation. Let that sink in, y'all. Positive energy always creates elevation, because the only way you're going to ever elevate is to be positive. Ashay.